My grandmother died on Christmas morning, 1998. I was 12. The weird thing was, she died sitting upright in her favorite chair by the Christmas tree, with a cup of tea still steaming in her hand and a smile on her face. Before she died, she told me about a family tradition I'd never heard of. On Christmas morning, before anyone else wakes up, you must go downstairs alone. You must thank the house for sheltering the family another year. If you don't, something else will claim that gratitude. I thought it was dementia talking. But that first Christmas after she died, I woke up at 6 a.m. to footsteps downstairs. Heavy, deliberate footsteps moving through our house. I crept to the top of the stairs and looked down. A figure stood in our living room. Tall, impossibly thin, wearing what looked like my grandfather's old suit. But my grandfather had been dead for 10 years. The figure was standing in front of our Christmas tree, its back to me. It spoke in a voice that sounded like wind through a tunnel. No gratitude given. Gratitude taken. It turned its head 180 degrees to look at me. Where its face should have been was just smooth, blank skin. I ran back to my room and hid under the covers like a child. In the morning, my father's hair had gone completely white overnight. He wouldn't speak for 3 days. When he finally did, all he said was, "Did you see it too?" My mother had aged 20 years. Deep lines creased her face. Her hands shook constantly. I finally understood. I went downstairs the next Christmas morning, alone, before dawn. The air was freezing, and I could see my breath despite the heating being on. I stood by the tree and spoke clearly. "Thank you for sheltering my family this year. Thank you for keeping us safe." Something in the shadows of the room shifted. I felt a presence leave, like a pressure being released from my chest. My parents slowly returned to normal over the following months. My father's hair never lost that white streak, though, and my mother still has night maze. I'm 4 to 6 now with children of my own. Every Christmas morning, I wait before dawn and go downstairs alone. I stand by the tree and give thanks to whatever lives in the walls, in the foundations, in the bones of our home. My daughter asked me about it last year. She's 12 now, the same age I was when Grandma died. I'll have to teach her soon. Because 2 weeks ago, I overslept. I didn't wake up until 7 a.m. My daughter had already gone downstairs alone. When I found her, she was standing by the Christmas tree, having a conversation with someone I couldn't see. She was nodding, smiling. "What are you doing?" I asked. She turned to me with eyes that looked too old for her face. It was lonely. It's as no one has talked to it properly in years. It's as most families forget. Forget what? That houses remember everything. Every fight, every tear, every drop of blood. And on Christmas morning, they decide whether to keep protecting you or whether to collect what's owed. She smiled then, the same smile my grandmother had when we found her dead in her chair. "Don't worry, Dad." I gave the proper thanks. I remembered Grandma's words. "But it wants you to know something." "What?" "It's hungry. And gratitude only feeds it for so long. One Christmas soon. Thanks won't be enough. I bought a new house last month. We're moving after New Year's. But I wonder, does the ritual transfer? Or will both houses come calling? 53 days until Christmas morning. I'm not sure we'll make it. The office Christmas party was in full swing when I drew my Secret Santa assignment. Marketing Department, Cube 47B. I didn't recognize the name on the slip, Marcus Welsh. I asked around the next day. Nobody knew a Marcus Welsh. HR checked the employee database. No record of anyone by that name. I laughed it off as a prank, but the slip of paper felt oddly cold in my hands. That night, I got an email from an internal company address, mwelsh@company.com. The subject line read, "Thank you for being my Secret Santa." The body of the email was just one line. "I can't wait to receive my gift. I've been waiting so long." I checked with IT. The email address didn't exist in our system. Over the next week, more emails came, each one more specific. "I know you're having trouble deciding what to get me." Then, "I saw you looking at those ties at the mall yesterday." I hadn't told anyone I'd gone to the mall. The final email arrived Christmas Eve. "Don't worry about the gift anymore. I'll come pick it up myself. Tonight, I know where you live." I lived alone in a basement apartment. Around 11 p.m., I heard footsteps upstairs, slow, deliberate pacing back and forth across my ceiling. Then scratching at my door. Not knocking. Scratching. I called the police. They found no one. But in the morning, there was a gift on my doorstep, wrapped in newspaper from 1987. Inside was a name tag from our company, yellowed and cracked with age. It read, Marcus Welsh, Marketing Department. Beneath it was a newspaper clipping. Local man found dead in office building, Christmas Eve 1987. Marcus Welsh, 34, discovered in basement storage room. Estimated dead for 3 weeks. No foul play suspected. The storage room described in the article was directly below Cube 47B. I quit that job the next day. But sometimes, I still get emails from mwelsh@company.com. They always say the same thing. You never got me my gift. Our neighborhood had this unspoken competition every December. Who could put up the best Christmas display? My neighbor, Mr. Brennan, always won. His house was a masterpiece of synchronized lights and music. This year, he outdid himself. The display was mesmerizing, thousands of lights dancing in perfect harmony. But something was different. Hidden among the traditional decorations were strange symbols I didn't recognize. Geometric patterns that seemed to pulse and shift when you weren't looking directly at them. My daughter Emma, who was 8, became obsessed with the display. She'd stand at our window for hours, just watching. She stopped playing with her toys, stopped talking at dinner, just stared out the window, waiting for darkness so the lights would turn on. One night, I found her standing in our front yard at 2 a.m. in her pajamas, barefoot in the snow. She was facing Mr. Brennan's house, swaying slightly. When I called her name, she didn't respond. Her eyes were open, but she seemed to be somewhere else entirely. I had to physically carry her inside. She fought me, screaming, "They're calling! They're calling! I have to go." The next morning, I confronted Mr. Brennan. He opened the door with his vacant smile. Behind him, I could see his living room, empty except for dozens of monitors showing security footage, but not of his property, of the entire neighborhood, of my house, of my daughter's bedroom window. "She's special," he said calmly. "She can hear them. They've been trying to find someone who can hear them for so long." I called the police, but when they arrived, Mr. Brennan's house was empty. Completely empty. No furniture, no monitors, no lights. The electrical panel showed the house hadn't had power in over 15 years. The neighbors said no one named Brennan had ever lived there. But the Christmas display was still running. All those lights, all that power, coming from nowhere. That night, I tore down every strand myself, ripping wires and smashing bulbs. As I destroyed the last section, I heard a sound like 1,000 voices screaming in unison, then silence. Emma returned to normal gradually, but she won't talk about what she saw or what was calling to her. Sometimes, late at night, I still see those geometric patterns when I close my eyes. And I wonder, how many other neighborhoods have houses like that? How many other children are standing at windows right now, listening to something we can't hear? Last week, a new family moved in across the street. They've already started putting up Christmas lights. Thousands of them. And the patterns look familiar.